Hey, welcome. One is like to kick ass, or in other words, how to do kick-ass software development. So, who has seen the movie Kick-Ass? Yeah, mostly all of us, all of you. So, just to bring you on the same page. So, Kick-Ass is just, so he's just an ordinary guy. He's no superhero. So he's not bitten by a radioactive spider or by coming from the planet Krypton or something. He's just an ordinary guy to fight against criminalists. That's what he does. And for those who have seen the movie, you pretty much know that in his first fight, he got up, he wants to fight criminalists, but he got pretty much beaten up. So he got stabbed by a knife and then driven over by a car. But you know, the thing is, he stood up again. He stood up again and actually kicked ass again. So he did a second fight, and all of a sudden, Hit Girl joined and Big Daddy joined, and they really kicked ass together. So, said that, software developers, there is actually a superhero in all of us. We just have to let him out, the superhero. We all kick ass, and we all can kick ass just if we get out and fight. So this is what the talk is about. So just to set some expectations here. Who's actually here? Who expect to see some kick-ass code, some great kick-ass code? No one? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Well, so this is the only code you will see. I hope you can read that. You may leave now. There will be no code. This is the only code in this presentation. So, who's here to learn a new methodology? The new Scrum, the new Kanban, the new kick-ass methodology? Someone here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, let me tell you this. There is no kick-ass manifesto. And actually, after this talk, you will not get certified. You will not be a certified kick-ass software developer. Atlassian has no certification. We're not earning money on that. Who's here just wants to kick ass? Oh, you're afraid to raise your hand. I can see that. Okay. Yeah, this is your talk. This is your freaking talk. Yeah, right. It's about kick ass. And yeah, that's me wearing the mask. I didn't bring the mask with me to the UK. It's getting a little bit warm under this mask. So how should you do kick-ass software development? How could you achieve that, to kick ass in software development? 2 words. Use Java. Thank you and goodbye. Okay, yeah. You know, the programming language, that's not so important. You can actually kick ass with Ruby, you can kick ass with Groovy, you can kick ass with Scala, you can kick ass with C#, you can kick ass with PHP. Oh, I don't know if you can do that. Are PHP programmers here in the room? No? Okay.
No one will let me.
Sorry?
No one will let me.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Okay, good. Then you can all stay here. Anyway, so my name is Sven. I work for a company called Atlassian. We're doing tools like Jira and Confluence and Stash. And I work there as an evangelist, ambassador, so I'm traveling around, talking, teaching people about kick-ass software development. You can tweet me if you want, if you think this talk kicks ass. If you think this talk doesn't kick ass, you can also tweet me. So, software development. I just made up my mind and said, okay, what do you want to achieve in software development? What do I want to do? I came up with these things, just random things. So, first, I want better software. I want software that's better usable, so it's slicker, it's nicer, but also the quality of my code should be better. I want to be better in that. And I want to have less overhead. Less overhead. I don't want to spend so much time in meetings. I don't want to read through a lot of emails. I just want to kick ass. I just don't want to mess around with all this stuff. And I want faster development. I want really my features should be out at the customer very, very fast, so I get fast feedback, and this is great. So, and I want happy customers. Customers that love to use my software that I'm creating, that are happy to use my software. And I hope all this leads to happy developers. That's what we all want. So if you would have asked me this 5 years ago, Sven, how do you achieve that? I would have said, be agile. Agile is the solution for everything. I mean, faster feedback cycles. You can show the software, you do just a sprint, and then you show the software to your customer, and he says, I like that. That's so great. That's so great. I told you, 5 years ago, I would have said that. What's actually the state of Agile in the year 2014? What's up with that? So we hear actually more and more people bashing on Agile stuff, like Martin. Martin is doing that with his famous diabolic developer talks, where he says something like, compiles, yeah, then just ship it. Which totally, I mean, it's stupid in terms of customer view. We don't want our customers to test our features. That's not what we want. That's stupid. But a little voice inside of me says, yeah, I don't want to mess around with all this stuff. If it compiles, I just ship it. I get feedback from my customers. That's good. Or the people from the dark manifesto of Agile software development. They actually have replaced some words in the Agile manifesto like individuals and interactions and not process and tools. Or just the guys from the programming motherfucker scene, do you speak it? And they don't even have replaced words in the Agile manifesto. They just have replaced each sentence in the Agile manifesto and said, what's the real value of that? It's programming, motherfucker. We just want to program. That's it. So the question is actually, what's with Agile? Is that dead? Is it over? Well, when we look at things like Agile and technologies, they all go through this hype curve, where you see, okay, yeah, first the early adopters. Yeah, that's great. We're doing Agile and it makes us so productive. Then the thought leaders. Yeah, you all should do Agile software development. It makes you so productive. It makes you happier customers and happy developers. And then the majority applies Agile and they see, well, maybe it doesn't solve all our problems, Agile. Actually, in some companies, it introduces more problems because things get more transparent, which is on the other side a good thing. But anyway, and I think we are on the way down, realizing that it doesn't help us to just apply Scrum or Kanban or whatever Agile methodology you pick. We have to do something more there. So what do we need, actually? Well, we need the next smart guy that comes and tells us, this is the thing. This is the thing to do next. Agile is dead. It's a new Uncle Bob that says, yeah, we're now doing software craftsmanship. And now everyone says, yeah, we're doing that, Uncle Bob, thank you. No. Well, actually, my advice is stop following the next guru. Look at your own software development. Look what's wrong with that, and then kick ass again. So said that is, I have brought 4 ass-kicking topics with me. First, deliver kick-ass software, 1 kick-ass team, kick-ass collaboration, and kick-ass automation. So said that is, I just picked this randomly. It's just picked some things from Atlassian and picked that where we sucked and where we tried to kick ass afterwards. So we're starting with delivering kick-ass software. Kick-ass software, that's just a blurry word. So what is kick-ass software? Well, kick-ass software for me, if my customer looks like this. Well, maybe not exactly like this, but if he smiles like this, if he's really looking forward, opening my software in the morning, says, yeah, I can work with Sven's software, that's so good. I'm looking forward to do it. It's so fun. Then I know I'm actually delivering kick-ass software. So, but how do we know that we built the right thing? We want to build the right thing. So how do we know that we built the right thing? Who actually knows the Microsoft kin? Anyone? I've recently been to a Microsoft meetup, and actually half of the audience raised their hands. Okay, good. Anyway, so the Microsoft kin was this mobile phone. They said, they thought, we need a new mobile phone with really, really cool stuff for the young generation, so you could take a picture and post it directly on Facebook, Twitter, Foursquare, Instagram, you name it. So they actually bought a company that delivered the operation system, and they made a big marketing bang and brought out the Microsoft kin. What happens then is nobody wanted to have the Microsoft kin. So nobody bought it, actually. It was laying on the shelf. Actually, Microsoft did then something smart. They pulled the plug and said, okay, God, we removed it totally from the market. After 40 days, they said, we removed that from the market. We're not going to sell it anymore. But actually, they spent $1 billion on it. $1 billion to deliver this thing. So actually, what we want to know is when we build the right thing, we want to know, before we build the right thing, we want to know that we built the right thing. So at Atlassian, we have one sentence for that, and this is, fake it till you make it. And actually, you can go so far with faking stuff. Just fake things. So if you look at IBM, they actually did an experiment, and this was decades ago, the speech-to-text experiment, where they actually they said, we have developed a software, and it's turning speech into text. Great, speech into text. So they invited some test persons, some secretaries, and let them speak into a microphone. So there was just a microphone and a screen. And people were talking into the microphone, and wow, wonder, the text appeared on the screen just when they talked. Great, good software. They totally faked this experience because they had one guy sitting there, could type very, very fast with headphone on, and show it on the screen. So, and they found out that this is not a good thing. You cannot talk for a whole day into a microphone. You cannot do that, talking for the whole day. And then it's hard to control the cursor. If there's a wrong word, you have to say backspace, 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 delete, delete, delete. So they didn't develop it. So they just tried it out, said, we're not going to develop it, it doesn't make sense. But actually, one step before that, you can start faking stuff. And that's what we do at Atlassian. We're doing something called paper prototyping. So paper prototyping is totally cheap. You just need some glue, paper, scissor, and some pen, and you can create paper prototypes. So what we do is actually we invite customer, maybe some developers, some designers, and take some user stories or one user story and really want to make the user interface for that. So the user experience. We want to try it out. So we're drawing it on a piece of paper. And we sit together there maybe for 1.5 hours, have 15 ideas, trying them out on paper, and see that maybe 13 of those are not working. So a paper prototype is like that. So the good thing is that you have no connection to your idea at the moment. You just create paper, and if it's not good, you throw it in the bin. You throw it back in the bin. So this is a typical paper prototype here. But said that is we're not just doing new interfaces like this. We have actually working software out there. So software that is actually working. So we have to know which features we should improve, and maybe which features are not used and we should remove. So how do we know that what features people love and want to have more of? We know that through feedback. So we get feedback from our customers, but how do you actually generate a kick-ass feedback experience? So I've been through Heathrow Airport, and you have this terminal here at Heathrow Airport, where you go through security, and you can easily find there are 3 or 4 of these terminals where they ask you, how was your security experience today? And you can just press a button saying, I was good, it was not so good. So it's very, very simple. You can fill out this piece of paper if you want to have more deeper feedback, give more deeper feedback, you can do that. But the good thing is also it's fast to submit. You just push a button and then you go to your gate. So we wanted to do quite the same thing for a new Agile board in Jira Agile. So we wanted to have a new cool board in Jira Agile, formerly known as Greenhopper. So we developed the first version and wanted to have as much feedback as we can get. So what we actually did was, okay, it should be easy to find. So what we did is we implemented this button just on top at the header, so everybody could see that there's a button, get feedback, you can click on that, and then you get this dialog. Very easy to fill out. You can just a few fields fill out. Not even the email or the name is required, so you could just fill out some fields. And then it's very, very fast to submit. And the good thing is, if you press the submit button, you are there where you started. So it's an in-app window. So you get in-app feedback. You're not dragged onto a new web page, and then you have to go back to your work. So you could just do it fast and easy, give feedback. So easy to find, simple, and fast to submit. So how did it went? It went great. We had 4 times as much feedback as we had before, by just introducing that button and that easy mechanism. So we had a feedback possibility before, down at the bottom of the page, where everyone has, okay, you can give feedback. So we implemented that 4 times as much feedback. Great. We get really, really good feedback. But what should we do with all the feedback? Now we have all the feedback and we have to read through it. Somehow we have to protect our developers from the whole feedback experience here. It's way too much for our developers. They are actually hired to code and not to read through feedback and answer feedback. So actually Google has coined a term for that, and they call it the umbrella. So these numbers are very old, I think 2 years old, but I think the ratio still applies here. So at that time, 2 years ago, they had 100 developers working on Gmail and 425 Gmail users. So you can do easily the math. There's 1 developer and 4.25 million users. So he will not get anything done if you have to read through all the feedback from the users. So they have this umbrella where they take product managers and they read through the feedback and they prioritize the backlog. So that's great, isn't it? That's really good, really cool. So the programmers can do their programming job. That's what they are hired for. That's really great. That's good. But actually, we're not Gmail at Atlassian. We not have 425 million users and just 100 developers. We are actually 300 developers and have a few million users. So at Atlassian, it's actually, we want to have everyone on the front line. Everyone should go on the front line and know what bugs the customer, because that's very important. If you know what bugs the customer, you can go back and fix those things and hear it directly from the customer. So you can see that. So we sent our developers to conference to talk to people, actually, and then get direct feedback. And we bring them also to customer interviews. So we want to actually close the feedback loop and get personal. So what the Jira Agile team did was they actually made a meeting in the morning, 45 minutes or half an hour, and they went through all the feedback they got the day before. And then they said, and they answered it directly. They answered the feedback directly, saying, "Okay, that's a good idea. We're looking into it," or "Nah, we're not doing it within the next year." And that's okay if you also push back, because the customer knows it has reached the right person. It has reached to the developer who actually decides, "No, we're not doing that. No, we're not programming that." So, and actually, we had just closed a feature request for our product Fisheye. Some people wanted to have visual source safe integration in our repository scanner Fisheye, and we actually said, no, we closed this. We're not gonna do that. And the first feedback we got was, "Thank you for being so transparent." Great. So people really love to get personal feedback. I take questions at the end if that's okay. Yeah? Good. So another program we have is sending developers on support. So each developer has to spend at least 1 week a year in support. So they have to do first-level support. I mean, second-level support they have to do anyway, but they have to do first-level support to see really what bugs the customer. Also, if there's something like when support provides just a workaround, they see that and say, that just takes us 1 day to program that you don't have to answer these questions and provide the workaround. So they see that directly. So what I wanted to say here is care about your customers and have a really, really effective feedback loop and get personal with that. So the second thing I want to talk about is how to work as one kick-ass team. And you just saw that. I mean, developers working together with support. The developers learn how support works, but also the support knows how development works because they are doing debugging sessions together and they're doing brown bags explaining how development works. So actually, they get closer together. They understand each other better, each other's job better. And this is what one kick-ass team is about. So let's have a look at some other roads here in software development. If you look at developers and testers, well, they have different roles, yeah? Testers are there for testing, a different responsibility. Testers are responsible that the quality is good, that we ship, and developers are responsible for doing coding. That's what they do. That's what they are hired for. That's what they are paid for. But we all know if we take that too strict, we get problems. We get problems with that. We have bottlenecks. If there's a big release coming up and the QA have to test the next release, well, the developers are just waiting until there's something coming back from the QA and then fixing the bug. That's not working. And then I think the most important thing is here the accountability. You lose accountability if you go that. I mean, we're developers and we should be responsible for what we're doing. It's not the QA. We should deliver really good software and not just throw it over the wall. And then scalability. So we thought at Atlassian we don't need any testers. We can test. We can everything. We are very engineering driven, so we can everything through automatic testing. That's great. So we had nearly 98% test coverage. Good. But also when we released, customer came back and said, there's a bug in the software. We said, can't be. We have set great test coverage. Can't be. So we actually said, okay, good, maybe we should hire a tester or some QA people to test our software. And then they came and said, yeah, you have to also manual test your software, the new features, and then automate that. How much tester do we need actually? And now, at the days, we are at a tester to developer ratio from 1 tester and 13 developers. So that's our ratio at Atlassian at the moment. And that's because our testers introduced a program, and that's called DOT, or Developer on Test. So the developers are taking the task and testing stuff. So the developers are testing the software from other developers that other developers have developed. That's great. That's good. Solves all our scalability problems. But you might ask now, what are the testers doing then? They're sitting there drinking pina colada, waiting and saying, test harder, there are more bugs in the software. Well, it's not like that. So we found out that if we look at test tasks, there are easy things to test and there are hard things to test. And developers find as much bugs in the easy things to test task than testers. So why not take the easy things to test and give them to developers, and the hard things, they are doing the testers. So they are testing that one. And QA at Atlassian doesn't mean quality assurance. It means quality assistance. So the testers are actually helping the developers to become better testers. So they provide training for the testers. And that time that they save, they spend in looking at better test tools, test automation tools, and this stuff. So we call this developers on test dot, and there's a verb we're using called dotting. So everyone asking, have you dotted this already? And I put together 6 tips for kick-ass dotting. And the first 3 tips are the basic ones if you want to implement dotting, and the last 3 are a little bit for advanced dotting. If the first 3 are working, you can move on to the last 3. So the first thing is very important, training. So every developer at Atlassian has to go through a training, and it calls like think like a tester. So you should think like a tester and learn some theoretical things about testing. The second thing is then we pair. We also have to do practice, and we pair together. So a tester sitting together with a developer, the developer is testing, and the tester says, oh, if I would be you, I would test more into that direction. They are learning from each other. And then we're doing something we call blitz test. And blitz test is not only the developers are testing, but the whole company is actually testing the software. So if we got a milestone release or something coming up, then we invite the whole company to test this release. So everyone in the company is coming together for maybe 2 hours and test. So the testers are saying, okay, you group test this feature, you group test this feature, and you're just trying to break the whole thing. And then we get the feedback, and the testers are collecting the feedback, prioritize it, put it in the backlog, and then we can release the software later. So this is Blitz test at Atlassian, and these are the 3 basic ones. So if you have implemented that, great, you can move on to the advanced topics. And the advanced dotting things are test recipes. I told you that the testers are testing the complicated stuff, which is no longer true because they now write test recipes for the complicated stuff. So they write everything down. If I would be testing this user story, I would test this, 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 this. And the developers are taking the test recipes and testing this stuff. Another thing that we do is split sessions. And split sessions is actually the opposite of pairing. So you're not sitting together, you're sitting in separate rooms. So there's a tester sitting in one room and a developer sitting in another room. And they're testing the same feature. And then they come together at the end and compare the results. And this way you can learn also they can learn from each other. And another thing we're doing is we call bug hunter. A bug hunter is a special role in the team, and it changes each week. There's another bug hunter in the team, and they go to the board and go to the done column and take a task and try to find a bug in that task and really hunt after the bug. But said all that, quality is actually at Atlassian everyone's responsibility. So we're dogfooding our software, and I'm using, for example, Jira and Confluence myself. So if I find a bug in that, it's also my responsibility as an evangelist to report that back to the developers. So quality is everyone's responsibility. Okay, to sum this up, actually, department barriers, they slow us down. And we should actually work together as one team. I mean, from the idea to the operation, and I haven't started with DevOps yet, which is the same story. And it's not about that we're doing this, all the developers are doing all the work. It's just about understanding the pain of the other team. It's just break down silos. This is what one kick-ass team means. Okay. And when we work together, we also have to collaborate together. It's not just about coding, but talking about coding and collaboration. You know, I remember the good old times when I was the only developer on my own code, the lonesome cowboy coder. I could do everything. There were no merge conflicts. Great. The quality was awesome because I wrote everything. And I knew every line of the code, so I knew where to go when there was a bug. So that was great. Actually, the trouble started when we worked together in teams. There were merge conflicts, the quality was different, and yeah. So we had to get some social things. And actually, if I didn't know how to fix this PDF importer bug or this PDF importer class. I have no idea because it was written somewhere in the 90s from a senior developer and he knows exactly what he's doing there. I cannot even read the code. I don't know what this does. So said that is that we have to collaborate. We have to work together to make this happen, to make this pain let go away. So, okay, let's step away a little bit from software development. Talking about rules, development rules and traffic rules. So here's a normal junction somewhere, I think, in the States. Red light, cars are stopping. Green light, cars can go. Until the next red light, cars are stopping again, waiting for the other cars to pass. Green light, cars can go. A lot of rules in traffic. If we look at the junction in India, look at that. I've watched this video, I don't know, 20, 30 times, and I can't see any rules in there. It's just flowing. It's just flowing. So sometimes people stop for a bit, but then it's going on again. So no rules, and the traffic flows somehow. It doesn't stop. We don't have to wait for someone else. I think this comparison from a junction in India and a junction in the States is a little bit unfair because I think more people die in traffic in India than they do in the States. But what does traffic rules give us? They should protect us from accidents. It's very, very important for our lives that we have traffic rules, actually. So what does development rules help us if we put development rules on? Well, they should protect us from making mistakes. But some companies are actually going too far with that. If there's a bug finding in production, you have to be called in by your manager and then said, okay, how do we achieve that this won't happen again? Well, it's just the button didn't work, so nobody died, or it's not. Let's just try to fix it next time. No, we have to have a rule, and some companies are doing a little bit too much on that. Actually, I've worked for a company that set up this whole rules and go back and make a prototype and then test it. And so, if we talk about coding, actually, we have 3 things at Atlassian, and these are the 3 things we just have: branch, pull, merge. That's it. So we do a branch for every task or every issue. So issues are very, very small. So they have maybe an average lifetime of 2 days until we merge them back into the master. So we're creating a branch for each issue. And then we merge it back. Which is not quite true because we're all doing, of course, pull requests. So we ask, what do you think? The rest of the team, what do you think about the code? Can you have a look at it? So we're doing code reviews. Why should we do that? Well, let's ask our game show candidates here. We have Andy, Julie, Steve, and Lynn. We asked the million-dollar question here: why do you want to discuss your code changes? And Julie presses the button first, and she says, "Boop, I want to have better quality in my code." That's true. Yeah, if we discuss the code changes, we see things very, very early in the process, even before we merge it back to the master branch. Great. We get better quality if we discuss on our code. Next one is Lynn. Lynn presses the button and says, I want to learn. And this is the most important thing when you're doing code reviews. You learn from each other. You learn other programming styles, how to use the programming language and other. You learn from it. We learn from each other. And not only that, we also learn what these PDF importer class programmed in the 90s does, because we see the changes and we can discuss these changes. So learning is the most important thing when we're talking about code reviews. Andy presses the button and he says, I feel better if somebody else looks over my code. Yeah, that's also true. I mean, if we don't see a bug and then deploy that to production, we can say, okay, we all have looked at the code and haven't seen that. That makes me feel better, actually. So, Steve, do you want to press the button? Steve says, I want to blame people. Of course not. This is the wrong answer. So if you're doing code reviews, be respectful. Be very respectful. At the end of a pull request, if we're okay with the code, we can approve the pull request. So maybe we invite 5 people to participate in the code and then the pull request. And if we got 2 approvals, we're okay with merging. So the developer that has done the pull request, that has done the code, can merge the code back then. And that means for us, we can move fast. We can move very, very fast. We don't have to wait for every one of our senior developer to approve the pull request. When 2 people think the code is good, we're good to go. So software development is not just about coding. That would be fun, but it's not. It's about collaboration. And we are distributed all over the world. But what we like is actually at Atlassian co-located teams. So we have offices in Sydney, San Francisco, in Gdansk, and Vietnam, developing offices. And our newest office is in Austin. So we prefer co-located teams. That's great, because we think if everybody sits together in one room, the information flows the best. That's it. But the truth is, that's not always possible. We have good developers moving away, with their family, and we acquire new companies that have developers all over the world. So this is how it looks in reality. This is how it looks in reality. And another thing is, where do you actually work best? Is it in the office? Is it in the coffee bar next door? Or is it on your couch at home? Well, the answer is, for me, it depends. If I want to collaborate, if I have to talk to people, well, the office is the best space to meet the people. If I have to really head down development, maybe the coffee bar or the couch is the best place. So how do we connect all these things here? How do we connect the dots here and communicate very, very effectively? What we use actually day in, day out as a tool is emails. And emails is so good. Some people underestimate the power of email. Look at this. They work offline, which is great. Then you can have one email and send them to many recipients. That's also very, very good. It's great. They work asynchronous. Asynchronously, yeah, I can receive an email and then answer tomorrow. That's good. I don't have to answer immediately. I can add people to the conversation. I can forward emails. Also, great thing. We love emails at Atlassian. Well, you might think this now. Are you crazy, Sven? We all know we hate email. This is my inbox in the morning when I wake up and San Francisco goes to bed. It's just too much. Okay, so let's have a look at the problems with emails. We all know that they're bad for conversations. Lots of spam comes into my inbox. They always need an action. I always need to delete an email or put them in another box or answer something. And some people write way too long emails. So we should avoid emails as much as possible. So what we do at Atlassian is we're using chat. So who uses chat at work here? All of you. Great. Nearly all of you. So let's say that. I explained just how we use chat at Atlassian. So we have a lot of chat rooms set up. So for example, the Confluence developer, so the developer that develop Confluence, they have this Confluence developer chat room where they exchange code snippets, they talk about features, and they actually see build status. So we have our build server connected to our chat room, so they get notification when the build fails. They get notification when somebody didn't use a branch to merge back to the master branch, but just committed directly to the master branch. They get a notification for that because that's not allowed at Atlassian. So things like that are popping up in the Confluence developer chat room. Then our design team has their own chat room where they exchange files, mock-ups, things like that. We have an enterprise discussion chat room, so when I got a question from a big company and I cannot answer that, I'm going to this expert discussion room and ask the question, and there are sitting the experts for enterprise questions. And they answer my question, and I can go back and pass on this question, this answer to my clients. And then we have a beer drinker or cat lover chat room, and I don't know what's going on there. But said that is, you have just the conversations you need in order to kick ass. So I leave the enterprise discussion room again because I don't want to have all the notifications that happened there. And then it's also awesome for cross-functional projects. So we're doing temporary chat rooms. We have temporary chat rooms where we say, okay, we have this project. For example, we need a new HR, a new hiring page or something. So the HR people comes to us and say, we have a hiring campaign. Can you build a web page? And we are software developers. Of course we can. So we're doing this temporary chat room. But these people that are connected there, they're not sitting in the same room. They're not sitting maybe in the same building. They may not sit on the same continent. So what we do is we have our designers invited in the chat room, then our marketeers that helps us creating this page, our HR persons, our web developers, of course, and then the management. And I don't know why they are, but they want to be part of everything. So they are also in the chat room. So said that is we develop the web page together, we collaborate in the chat room, and then afterwards we delete the chat room again if the project is done. So it's just a temporary chat room. And chat, you know, that is great for remote conversations. So I'm working remotely, and I can just write a message to my buddies in Amsterdam or in San Francisco. But it's also good for local conversations. We are also doing local conversations in the chat room. So if we are in the same room, people are chatting more than they're speaking, because some people are in the zone, so they have turned off their chat room. They want to stay in their zone, and if they come back from the zone, if they are ready with programming, they jump into the chat room and see all the conversations that happened there. We have all the history in our chat rooms. And this is also a great thing when we work on different time zones. So if Sydney goes to bed, San Francisco wakes up, the guys in San Francisco can look in the Confluence guys in San Francisco can look in the chat room and see why some decisions has been made like they have been made in Sydney. So it's great for working in different time zones. And then you can pull people just into conversations. You just mention them like in Twitter or Facebook with the @mention annotation, and then they get a notification. You are mentioned in this chat room. Please come in and join the conversation. So that's very effective. Another thing where we collaborated, and where we need more collaboration, better collaboration, kick-ass collaboration was, well, we expanded a lot. So in Sydney, we had the problem that we grew out of our building, so we had to rent some office space on the other side of the street. And it was very, very heavy traffic street in Sydney, so it was very, very dangerous to cross the road. Even though there was a traffic light just 100 meters away, people crossed the road. And, you know, there are not so many people living in Australia, and developers are very rare, and good developers. We don't want to lose our good developers just by a car accident. So we had to come up with a solution there. And some of us, they watched this movie here, Stargate. Wow, great. We built a portal. So you just step through the portal and you'll be on the other side of the street. Great idea. Well, we're not that far. We're not there yet, but we tried hard. So what we did is actually we built this portal here. It's just a television, a Mac Mini, a camera, a microphone, and you can step in front of the portal and do a face-to-face conversation. It feels like you're doing a real conversation if you look through the portal, and you can really look through the portal, wave, and say, can you bring Kathy to the portal? I want to have a chat with Kathy. So that's pretty cool. So said that is remove collaboration friction and easy workflows. Look at your workflows. Easy workflows means fast development. Think about that. The last thing I'm going to talk about is kick-ass automation. So when we look at what we do day in, day out, we are helping people to be faster by automating their work. That's what we do. That's what we do as software developers. We're helping our customers to be faster, to be more effective. But think about how much time did you spend last week to automate your own work, to be more effective in your own work? Well, I didn't spend a lot of time in that. So if I think about automation, it's the first thing that comes to mind is, of course, continuous integration, build automation. So who's doing continuous integration here? Okay, who's doing kick-ass continuous integration? Who kicks ass in continuous integration? One, maybe. Yeah, the same thing at Atlassian. So our builds 1 year ago or 2 years ago they actually took way too long. They were too complicated. They were unstable, and they really missed the concept. So in short terms, our build really sucked. They weren't good. So we had to do something. So the goal is with continuous integration that you wanna fail fast. You want to fail very, very fast, so you can change that. You can change your bug you introduced or your test that failed. So you can look at the code. You don't want to wait for 2 hours to know, okay, the build failed because of my changes 2 hours ago. Then you are in the next task already, and you have to do context switching, and that's what you want to avoid. So the best thing would be I check on the code, and the lamp goes on and says green. The code is good. That would be my favorite thing in the future, but we're not there yet. But I put together 4 things how we tamed our monster builds and kick ass again. We're not there yet, I said. So we're trying to kick ass, but we have to improve, still have to improve. The first thing is a little bit embarrassing that I say that, but it helped us a lot, and it was parsing the edit. So just build the thing and put that into Nexus or Artifactory. That helped us a lot. And pick it from there and use it in the rest of the builds or in the tests from there. We have built it a few times in our build server. So, and actually, this is the result from 1 hour down to 36 minutes or something. Yeah. So then we actually invested in more hardware because we can parallelize our tests. They are unit tests. They can run separately. So why not run them in parallel and tie together the test results at the end and see the test results there. So we did that, and then we looked at our build strategy, and we had built a whole build pipeline where we went step to step. Okay, this succeeded, then the next one, then the next one, and we moved away from that. We built now in layers. So we built on every check-in, every commit, every merge. We built now and do a unit and UI test. That's what we do. And then maybe every hour we run platform tests, and maybe every nightly build we're running our performance tests. So we build in layers. And we found out that 95% of all problems that happen here down here in the unit and UI test in the building phase. So that's where 95% of all time the build failed. But said that is the important thing is here looking at your statistics, look at your stats, and be a freaking data porn. Really look deep into your statistics and find maybe things like that, long-running tests, break them down into a parallelized tests, things like that. So faster builds means less task switching. I said that. So if you have fast builds, you switch tasks less. So more automation awesomeness at Atlassian. So what do we do? So our testers came up with this. They built a flaky test detector, and we all know the build is red. Well, I press the button again, and the build is green. Okay, good, I'm good to go. No, you have a flaky test, and this doesn't tell you anything. So we have built a flaky test detector that detects this, and then put the test in quarantine so it's not executed anymore, and raises automatically a Jira issue, so somebody has to look at that test. Then every team at Atlassian has wallboards, so minimum 1, maybe 2 wallboards where we show actual information. Different teams show different information, have different interests. How many story points are left in the iteration, you name it. You can put everything on a wallboard that interests is the interest of the people. Another thing what we have is a Freud bot. And the Freud bot is actually static code analysis together with pull requests. So the Freud bot kicks in if you're doing a pull request and then looks at your code and finds statically some code smells. Like here, there's a magic number and you can replace that with a constant. So there's a robot doing comments in the pull requests. But said that is, use your skills to automate stuff. It's you're software developers. You have a gift to automate stuff, so use that for your own software development. So these are my 4 ass-kicking topics I want to show you. But said that is, these are just parts I picked. I actually planned the talk, and it was running 1.5 hours. So I removed some parts from the talk, and I can maybe do a second edition of this one with other kick-ass things we have been doing at Atlassian. So these are just parts of the puzzle. Know your priorities. So maybe it's like this: kick-ass software development means kick-ass customer, kick-ass team, kick-ass dev speed, quality, and scale. This was our priority list, maybe half a year ago, until we found out that dev speed we were pretty good. Actually, we increased dev speed by 30%. But on the other hand, quality was not so good, so we had more support tickets. So maybe we concentrated more on quality next year or now than before. So know your priorities here and adopt that. At the beginning, I asked this question here: is Agile dead? Of course not. I mean, all the things I just showed is Agile. You see what sucks, what doesn't work in your software development, how can you be more productive, and fix those things. But our founder, Scott Farquhar, once said, be excellent in everything you do. Try to be excellent in everything you do. It's like running a triathlon. If you're good at swimming, you will never win a triathlon. If you're good at swimming and bad at cycling and running, you will never win a triathlon. Be excellent in everything you do. You have to train cycling, you have to train running to win a triathlon, to be excellent. And try to be excellent in everything you do. You might say now, okay, I'm going Monday morning to my manager and tell them all this stuff, and my manager will push back. But said that is, this was all about productivity, dev productivity. And managers are actually humans too. They understand this. If you get more productive, that's good also for them. You can talk to them. But said that is, some managers are maybe easier to persuade, and other managers are a little bit harder to persuade. That can be, yeah. But you should actually, so if you go back and be the only kick-ass software developer in your team, that doesn't help. You should build a kick-ass culture. Everyone should be aware of, if they see things, they should jump on it, talk to the team and fix those things. So you need to build an awareness of a kick-ass culture. So we are actually blogging internally a lot about what we do and where we failed and where we succeeded, that other teams can see that and adopt this. So try to build a kick-ass culture. I started this talk with a story from Kick-Ass, and here are the pictures. So Kick-Ass was stabbed with a knife and driven over with a car. But actually, he stood up again and did his second fight afterwards, and really fight against criminals. So he didn't give up. And it's hard sometimes, and you won't be a kick-ass software developer if you're sitting behind your screen all day long and trying to fix things. You have to step up, get out of your comfort zone in order to be more awesome. So if you want to be awesome, you have to step out of your comfort zone and be more awesome. It doesn't fix things if you sit behind the screen. All right, so at Atlassian, we have every team has a different name. So we have the Muppet team, we have the Black team, the A team, and of course, we also have a kick-ass team. Sure. And the kick-ass team has actually a poster at the door, and each day they leave the door, they look at the poster, and it says this: "Did you kick ass today?" And this is what I want you to take away and ask you each day when you leave work: did I kick ass today? Thank you very much. Thanks for your attention. And kick ass. I can see time is up. So I take questions here. I'm here. So if you want to take questions, and there's a keynote coming up now. So enjoy the keynote and come to the desk, and I can answer your question. Thank you.